Assassin's Creed. What do you think of when you hear that title? To most people, they think of it as an open-world historical anthology series. To hardcore fans, they would think the same, but realize it goes a bit deeper. A lot of this series is connected through the modern-day elements and a bit of sci-fi plot devices. But if you're a Ubisoft higher-up, you'd look at this logo right here and redesign it like so. Remove the assassins from the logo, because God forbid we have that in a game called Assassin's Creed, and remove the ED here, replace it with a DIT, simply add the words card please, and boom, you got a recipe for profit. But before we get to that corporate bullshit, let's do a quick rundown of the series. I'm not trying to do a whole retrospective here, so I'll try to keep this semi-short. Assassin's Creed started in 2007 with Assassin's Creed 1. This game obviously established the series and showed us it's more than just a historical epic. Desmond Miles is the protagonist of this game's modern-day segments. Desmond is a descendant of many assassins and is kidnapped by a company called Abstergo, aka the Templars. Desmond is kidnapped because of his DNA, or more specifically, because of his connection to ancient assassins who have come in contact with powerful relics dubbed the Pieces of Eden. These artifacts are remnants of a civilization called the Isu that predates and is more powerful than humans. Using a device called the Animus, Desmond can relive the memories of his ancestors and effectively gain their skills. Basically, the assassins believe in preserving freedom and free will, and the Templars believe in order through control. These relics are the center point of this conflict, because they have all these magical bullshit powers that can control people, kill people, whatever you want to say, I don't know. But this conflict is pretty much the premise and driving force of the whole series. Keep those words in mind as we go forward. The first Assassin's Creed is a game that is so okay, we don't need to talk about it at all, so we're gonna jump to Assassin's Creed 2.
Leonardo, I am in a giant fucking mech with the alien from the hit movie Alien.
Assassin's Creed 2, or rather the entire Ezio trilogy, really put this series on the map.
It's me, Mario!
These games feature the protagonist, Ezio, as he goes from arrogant teenager to master assassin to wise mentor. What made these games special compared to the first was its focus on characters and historical setting.
Fuck, I'm gonna lose him. Alright.
The first game really just had emphasis on its historical setting. The main character, Altair, was very basic, underdeveloped, and had an American accent for some reason.
What sorcery is this?
Ubisoft realizes this and fixed him in Assassin's Creed Revelations, even though the game technically was about Ezio. These 4 games, despite being years apart, were fully connected through Desmond's story of becoming an assassin himself and bringing the fight to the Templars. Although the writing for the modern day doesn't achieve its full potential, it's a good way to establish continuity in the franchise and reward those who stick with the series.
I'm on my James Bond shit, let's fucking go. What the fuck?
Overall, these games are pretty good in terms of story, the world, and learning about real history, and its characters.
Is that the fucking FNAF ambience?
2012 rolled around, and this series was gaining popularity. Ubisoft released Assassin's Creed 3, a game that was meant to be a finale of sorts to the storyline that started in 2007. I do not care what people online say, this is the best Assassin's Creed. Best characters, best story, best villains. I mean, the bar's in fucking hell unless you want to talk about incest, man. And it introduced a moral dilemma in the Assassins vs. Templars conflict that went beyond good versus bad guy. But I don't have time to analyze that. The game takes the first 6 hours to set up the villain and makes you play as him, which many people complained about, but I'm one of like 6 people who loved this. Please, just accept me for who I am. The villain is established before the hero, and that's on purpose. It gives him so much more weight. I know you might yell at me and say,
well, I want to do cool assassin shit. I want to explore the world.
and yeah, if you're patient, you can do that. I don't know about you, but I'll take super, extremely long development of a character any day over Giancarlo Esposito saying, "Son, we are lions, and our people are sheep. Now let's enact slave labor and genocide because I am upset that I have cancer." But, as I said, this isn't a story analysis. This what the hell do you call a series of 5 games? A quintet! I mean, the music, Connor, the protagonist being a goddamn action hero, the setting of the American Revolution, nothing will beat that feeling for me of learning about the Boston Massacre or the Boston Tea Party in 6th grade and then witnessing those events in the game once I got home. I aced that history class, by the way. Thank you, Assassin's Creed 3. But at the end of the game, Assassin's Creed 3 makes the bold choice to kill off Desmond in order to stop the world from being destroyed. But in turn, letting the potentially evil letting the potentially evil Isu Juno free into the world. What a brave sacrifice that was. Totally worth it. Not even Nolan North knew he recorded lines for his own character's death. This death would set up the future of Assassin's Creed with the new introduction of Juno. Or they could just continue to hype her up for 3 games and kill her off in a comic book before she could even do anything, making the entire modern-day plotline for 3 games complete filler and useless. The fact that I didn't even know this happened until I did research for this video. Like, Assassin's Creed is a game series, I'm not gonna read the goddamn comic books. After this, we got a few more Assassin's Creed games. Black Flag needs no introduction, and is the best pirate game ever made. Besides Sea of Thieves, the bar is also in hell, but still.
Why is he doing that?
Black Flag, however, delivers a pretty lackluster modern day, with a mute, self-insert protagonist working an office job. That's right, they just turned the modern day into an average day of someone in late-stage capitalism. Totally not something I play games to get away from. Despite that, the historical side is amazing, with one of the best protagonists of the series, Edward Kenway.
One thing at a time, mate.
What the fuck? Is there supposed to be a hood?
The ship combat and boarding systems are just something I have yet to see topped in another game. So next up, no, we'll skip that one.
I'm sure they'll figure it out one day.
So next up, there's Unity. Using the power of the at-the-time next-gen PS4 and Xbox One consoles, shows an amazing recreation of Paris during the French Revolution. But its story does almost nothing with the setting, and the story itself is eh.
Bitch, what the fuck?
And despite the fact that the parkour is top-notch, it's clear that the formula at this point is getting pretty stale. With the age of next-gen consoles, Unity introduced some co-op missions to the games and a light leveling system. You know what that means? Microtransactions, hell yeah! Ubisoft dipped their toes in microtransactions in Black Flag with time savers and multiplayer packs for the multiplayer mode that no one played, except for me, but nothing too bad. These are avoidable and don't really affect the game too much. 1 year later, Assassin's Creed Syndicate dropped, and it's basically the same as Unity. You got dual protagonists and a grappling hook. Hell, let's throw in some, horse-driven carriages or something.
Heck yeah, beating up a woman. That's realistic for the time period. Alright.
But otherwise, the formula instantly got stale, and sales reflected that. Ubisoft needed something new. Something to revive the series. Give it a new breath of fresh air. Well, The Witcher 3 was good, right? Let's just do that. Thus, Assassin's Creed Origins was born. A whole new game set in ancient Egypt. The creative director of the series said this setting would never work, but here we are. It's true. Egypt is an area with mostly desert, big open areas, and only a few select cities. It's not really great for the parkour and stealth the series is known for. So, how about we make it an RPG? Add in some leveling. Origins came out to universal praise due to it trying something new. It had a good narrative, and even tried to bring back the modern day. The protagonist sucks, though. No one likes her! I booted up this game at launch, and I fucking hated it. At the time, I was someone who just beelined through the main story and decided if I wanted to do side content after the main game. But the game stops you every goddamn quest because your level is too low, and you gotta do like 3 side quests, which are hit or miss, and the game takes like 30 hours to beat. Jesus Christ! Years later, I went back to Origins to give it another chance. At this point, there was a DLC that allowed you to skip the base game's max level and breeze through the campaign to make it easy to beat the DLC. When I did this, the game only took me 8 hours to beat compared to 30, and I enjoyed it way more. And then, I went on to 100% it, because I enjoyed it more that way. You see the problem? The actual good content in this game is only 8 hours. But they pushed it to 30. Why? Well, although Origins is a good game on the surface, Ubisoft started to prioritize playtime over the actual quality of content, making you do so much content just to see the little bit of good stuff they sprinkled in there. But you could buy their time savers to help you level up faster. Surely this is not predatory and won't cause problems going forward, right? Assassin's Creed Odyssey. A big change for the series with an even bigger map. Bigger, longer story, bigger everything. Oddly enough, I liked this game when I played it in 2018. I mean, clearly. But I have been absolutely terrified to ever do a replay because I think I see through this game's bullshit years later. It shares many of the same problems with Origins. Huge map, huge play times, and time savers. That's right. Pay more money to play less of the game you just bought for $60. It's fucking genius. No one wants to play our fucking game that we forced them to buy. Oh yeah! And now we have a gear system, which means more grinding. Don't get me wrong, this game has many redeeming qualities, good characters, not the modern day, good lore for the series. Despite the fact that it's before the Assassins even existed, it confirms some questions that a lot of people have had for a long time. But this game gets wacky. Mythological creatures, out-of-this-world landscapes like Atlantis, and the protagonist is a literal demigod that is alive for basically the entire thousands of years that the Assassin's Creed timeline takes place in due to some magic stuff or something, I don't fucking know. To top that all off, I was chilling one day in 2021, maybe 2022, I don't remember. I can't remember exactly when, but they randomly dropped an update for the game with a new questline. I think, why not? The next game in the series is already out, but I'll check this out. I finish the questline, and the credits roll. Wait, what? That's right, this game never had credits. So you mean to tell me I bought this game for $60 in 2018, had to pay for like 6 DLCs, and then I get the ending after like 3 years later? What the fuck?
This game just really works. I'm so impressed. Triple A, no, actually, quadruple A right here. This is, oh my god, look at him go. Look at him just, he's so silly.
If I knew that, I could have just waited like 4 years for the whole game to come out, get it at a cheaper price with all the quality of life, all the content, and the goddamn ending, and it would have been a better deal.
That's not good.
Surely, it can't get worse from here. It got worse. Actually, it got as low as it possibly could.
Too slow!
Time to use my secret move. He was not ready for that.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla is actually in like my top 3 worst games I ever played. Once again, on its surface it has some good writing. In about 4 of its 60-hour runtime, Jesus fucking Christ.
Onward to Ray. What the? Okay. We continue.
The majority of the game consists of protagonist Eivor, traveling with his or her Viking pals to establish a new home and forging alliances with all the neighboring regions. And I don't remember a single goddamn one of them. That's how fucking boring they are.
Sigurd, are you cracked?
60% of these arcs, as the game calls them, are meant to pad out and bloat the game for no reason. And while this game doesn't make you depend on leveling like the others, the story itself is the grind this time. It has a huge map with so many pointless collectibles, and the story just isn't entertaining. It's just mission after mission of go here, kill this guy, go here, do this thing, go here, walk across the thousands of meters of giant fucking map with nothing in it.
I'm not ready for you yet!
And then once in a while you get an entertaining mission.
You crawled from the womb. You were ugly and lame. Your poor mother, she fainted away from the shame.
Oh my god, he's so sad.
Not to mention, they also added the ending years later, after like 8 DLCs. You see the pattern? Why would anyone buy these games at launch if they know this is just gonna keep happening?
Stab. Alright, Patrick, you're next. Any second now. There we go.
It took me years of on and off just to finish this game, and I only did because I already played the rest of the series, so I wanted to see where the story went. While it did take the overarching story some interesting places towards the end, that was ultimately useless because they threw it all out the window anyway in the next entry. Assassin's Creed Mirage was supposed to be a return to roots. No RPG, a small city just like the old games.
Wow, this is just like the old games. They really outdid themselves. This is awesome.
And it was supposed to give more insight to our new modern-day protagonist Basim, which, long story short, is a reincarnated Isu who lived during the Golden Age of Baghdad and through some supernatural bullshit survived to see the modern day. We dive into his past, and it should be pretty interesting. Well, it is, it's just written in the most confusing and boring way somehow, but it has potential.
He's so locked in on that horse toy, he doesn't even know he's on fire. That's badass.
The game itself played like Valhalla, enemies are kinda damaged sponges, and it was just not entertaining. As of recording this video, they just dropped a free DLC for it. Don't know if it's any good, but I'm too busy bitching, and that's all I really gotta say about that.
Oh my god, I remember this from the old games. Oh, dude. Just like the old games.
Assassin's Creed Shadows came next. It's just the same bullshit, but somehow even worse. Just slightly shorter, big-ass map, a story that doesn't even have assassins in it. The modern day is... whatever the fuck this is. The previous games started to set up Basim as this really cool concept for a protagonist, and the story was actually going to go somewhere after they tried to take it somewhere for years, only to ruin it in a comic book or some shit, and they just abandoned it again because they think no one cares. I care, Ubisoft. I know not everyone plays these games for the overarching story and lore, but I do, goddammit! Whew. Okay, back to it. The game's story, even on the historical side, doesn't make any goddamn sense, and it ends on a cliffhanger only to be resolved in the DLC that feels like a huge nothing burger. The whole game is literally a 60-hour filler episode. So much of the focus was put into prioritizing unlocking 80 fucking fast travel points and a horrible scout system that makes finding everything a goddamn chore. You can just turn it off anyway, effectively having your playtime, so what's the fucking point anyway? You know Ghost of Tsushima and Yotei have these activities that let you upgrade yourself and they're fairly engaging and varied? Well, Shadows makes you go through these big areas to find pieces of paper or find shrines to pray at, right? Which is like a 10-second animation every time you pray at one, and there are like 100 of them, and that doesn't even include having to travel across a huge goddamn map, and if I go off the road, they get you stuck on these steep hills you can't go up, and there's so much foliage you can't even see where you're going, making you realize most of this game in this goddamn map is just an empty forest you can barely navigate. Jesus Christ, fuck this game. I don't know if Shadows or Valhalla is worse, but at least Valhalla had some interesting writing, even if it's hidden under 60 hours of bloat. So, how did this happen? What was the pivotal moment that changed it all? Well, if you couldn't tell during my rundown, or meltdown, Ubisoft decided creating more playtime leads players to not want to play their game and buy time savers, basically fixing a problem they created. If I were to point fingers, it would probably be the Guillemot family. The owners and founders of Ubisoft specifically Yves. Yves? We're just gonna call him Yves, I don't know if that's right. Somewhere along the line, this guy went batshit crazy. I don't know if he fell down the stairs or got an early form of dementia, but every big Ubisoft franchise became such corporate bullshit in some way. Not only with microtransactions, but with storytelling and gameplay too. Everything is just so extremely safe. For example, an Assassin's Creed game set in the Civil War where you kill Ku Klux Klan members was cancelled because apparently killing the most notorious hate group in the world is controversial now. Poor Bethesda. The lead of the Assassin's Creed franchise, Mark Alexis Cote, was recently removed from his position, and a new studio called Vantage Studios has been formed under Ubisoft to handle the franchise. So, with all I said, you'd figure, oh wow, they realized that one guy might have been doing some damage, and they want to improve with the new studio. Well, Yves has other plans. He wants to put his son as the lead, and they say nepotism is dead. Well, maybe I'm going too fast here. Maybe this guy has some talent. What was he doing before this? Oh, an AI NFT avatar platform. Amazing! We're really raking in the cash now. The stocks are fine, guys. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. You can invest in us. Right now, Assassin's Creed is like the one franchise that's not Siege or Far Cry that actually makes Ubisoft some money. Ubisoft managed to make a Star Wars game fail. Like, how do you do that? We don't even need to talk about Avatar. I dropped that game in like less than 2 hours. Ubisoft continues to be the most out-of-touch company, insisting games are failing. Gamers want subscriptions, and microtransactions make games more fun. That's probably why they're closing studios and doing layoffs like every other studio that thinks like this. But don't worry, I can buy a flaming horse for $10 and look cool in my single-player game where no one else is gonna see it. And for some goddamn reason, I'm trying to 100% this series. I guess I just like useless checklists. Overall, I and many others probably wouldn't care about these microtransactions if the games were just smaller in scale and had an actual focus. But when every aspect of the game is designed to make you annoyed with it, so you spend money to get to the few good parts there are, that's a problem. Even as of now, these so-called good parts might have some hype moments and aura, but the writing is absolutely atrocious and it isn't even worth it. It's infuriating. Mirage was on the right track with how these games should be. Smaller but decent-sized maps with a 20-hour story is completely fine, and probably cheaper to make. You can still have your bullshit $5 weapons, don't worry, I won't buy them, but some idiot will. Unfortunately, I will stick with this series for a long time to come, but I'm done buying these games at full price, cause they're always 80% off in a year anyway, and they don't even launch finished. Why would I pay $70 for a game without an ending when I can get it a year later for $20 when it has its ending, tons of DLC, and quality of life improvements? What is Yves thinking? I mean, Valve is sitting there doing fucking nothing and just winning, and Ubisoft is working their ass off making slop and falling apart. But hey, let's hire the guy who's into underage anime girls and AI and probably gets off to it. It's the perfect person to lead this franchise to greatness. How can you be so out of touch? Talking about Ubisoft just ruined the good day I was having. So, I'm just gonna end it here and play this goddamn new Mirage DLC cause it's free. It probably sucks. What the hell? Why was that fucking good?